Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Morning Meditation. My name is Jim Saul. I'm a practitioner here at the center, and I will be doing the guided meditation this morning. Let's take just a few minutes. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And breathe. The quiet that you will experience is a really beautiful place. All the wisdom in the universe can be found within the quiet. In meditation, I recommend that you become very, very conscious of everything around you. Every sound, the chair that you feel supporting you, each and every breath. Oftentimes they refer to this as deeply listening. Listening not only with your ears, but with your whole being. This quiet is a place of healing. It's a place we can go and let go of our fears and worries. It's a place we can go to stop the mental dialogue that so often runs rampant in our heads. And the only thing we really need to do is breathe. The mystics call this conscious breathing. Become aware of the inhale, maybe a sensation in your throat, and the exhale, maybe you can feel it on your upper lip. observer of all the sensations within the body and outside. You can become so aware that you can actually feel the whole room. You can feel the other people. The sounds, maybe the smells. I like to have my meditation be a deep awareness of what is here, now. And take a deep breath and relax. Allow all the tension and worry to just fall away. And breathe. I often make my meditation time a place where I bring in people, friends, family who are ill or struggling. And I might envision their face and just know that they are healing. Heal. Heal yourself. Heal others. Heal the world. In this quiet place, you can find that all things process of healing. The quiet is always present, even in busyness and when all the world seems to be struggling and frustrated. Just beyond that, you can find the quiet. You can find this quiet, peaceful moment when you're walking through Walmart, or driving in busy traffic, or when your life seems chaotic. This quiet will always be a refuge. Sometimes just taking a moment will heal the external world in every way. And we will be present to help it heal. So I give thanks for this quiet place. It's always available to us. I give thanks for the divine intelligence that we can find there. The peace, the contentment, the relief from all the busyness of life. It's just a quiet thought away. But for now, I can come back to the busy world. But I come back more healed, more centered, more loving and compassionate than I was before I began this meditation. I give thanks for the center, for it has given me a place to share this quiet. And I give thanks for each person here for being a part of it. And I can release this meditation simply and easily by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
the sun beats down, hits the tar upon the roof, and your shoes get so hot, where shall tie your feet with fireproof? Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, or the blanket with my baby is where I'll be.
Under the boardwalk,
Out of the sun,
under the boardwalk,
I will be having some fun
under the boardwalk,
with people walking
under
apart,
the boardwalk,
and we'll be falling in love
under
under
the
the boardwalk, boardwalk. From the park you hear the sound of a carousel. Oh, oh, you can almost taste the hot dog and French fries they sell under the boardwalk, down by the sea, or the blanket with my baby is where I'll be. I want to hear you do it.
under the boardwalk,
Out of the sun,
under the boardwalk,
I will be having some fun
under the boardwalk,
with people walking
under the
apart,
boardwalk,
and we'll be falling in love
under
under
the
the boardwalk, boardwalk. All right. Happy Sunday. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, on a blanket with my baby is where I'll be.
under the boardwalk,
Out of the sun,
under the boardwalk,
I will be having some fun
under the boardwalk,
with people walking
under
apart,
the boardwalk,
and we'll be falling in love
under
under
the
the boardwalk, boardwalk. Life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above, and you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life would be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again, shaboom, and hoping we'll meet again. Life could be a dream if only all my precious plans would come true, and I could spend my whole life loving you. Life would be a dream, sweetheart. Every time I look at you, something's on my mind. Baby, if you do what you want me to, honey, we'd be so fine. Oh, life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above, and you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life would be a dream, sweetheart. Shaboom, shaboom, sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, shaboom, shaboom, sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, shaboom, shaboom, sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, shaboom, 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 sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, shaboom, shaboom, sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, shaboom, shaboom, sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, shaboom. Every time I look at you, something's on my mind. Baby, if you do what you want me to, honey, we'd be so fine. Oh, life could be a dream I said all the time, baby, the way you move me is crazy. Like you see right through me and make it easier. Yeah, you don't even have to try. Oh, because you are the best thing. You are the best thing. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. Baby, we've come a long way, baby. Yeah. Ooh, I hope and I pray that you believe me when I say this love won't ever fade away. Oh, because you are the best thing. You are the best thing. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. Both of us have known love before. Made a promise like the spring, gonna step on out the door. Our hearts are real, our hearts are kind. Let me tell you just exactly what's on my mind. You are the best thing. You are the best thing. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. Don't you know you are? Yeah. Ooh, don't you know you're the best thing? That ever happened to me. Don't you know you are? Yeah. That ever happened to me. Thank you. Oh yeah. Sunday morning rain is falling. Still some copper shades, some skin. Clouds are shrouding us in moments unforgettable. Twist of fate, the mode that I am in. And things just get so crazy. Living life gets hard to do. I'd gladly hit the road, get up and go if I knew that one day it will lead me back to you. That one day it will lead me back to you. Come on. And maybe all I need, that's all I see. Driving slow on Sunday morning, and I never want to leave. Fingers trace your every outline. Oh yeah. Paint a picture with my hands. Oh. Back and forth we sway like branches in a storm. Change the weather, still together when it ends. That may be, and maybe all I need. All I see. to leave. And things just get so crazy, living life gets hard to do. Sunday morning, rain is falling, and I'm calling out to you. Someday, lead me back to you. Find a way to bring myself back home to you. That may be, it may be all I need. All I see, driving slow on Sunday morning, and I never want to leave. It may be all I need. All I see, driving slow on Sunday morning, and I never want to leave. Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm Kristen Lee, and it's my pleasure to introduce Reverend Dr. Ken Wilcox.
I'll have to let you.
Drum roll, right?
Hey, yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Ken Wilcox. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, on a little gray day, but gosh, it's blooming forth perfect in here. You know, I know a lot of people join us online, and I love that, but you can't feel the energy into the room until you get here, because this is a wonderful and amazing place to be. And you know, all we ask you to do each Sunday morning is to leave all your troubles, your weird wouldas, couldas, shouldas, leave all that stuff outside. Next 45 minutes or so, open up an avenue of spirit possibilities. And it's so easy to do, because all you have to do is just turn loose of all your worries, your fears, your doubts, your wouldas, your couldas, your shouldas, let all that stuff go. And for the next 45 minutes or so, to open up an avenue of spirit possibilities in your life. And what are spirit possibilities? More love, more joy, more happiness, more laughter, more spring flowers, all those things in life that make us feel alive, because that's what Spirit is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through our love, our joy, and our laughter. You know, we are a special community. You're probably not going to find one similar to us in our area, because here at this community, we encourage you to develop a God of your understanding. We don't force a dogma on you. We don't tell you what you have to believe. We just encourage you to believe the best of yourself and to know that there's a power of goodness flowing through you that you can use to attract the best of yourself. And the best of yourself is for all the love and joy you had in mind when you came here. So know you're in a great place this morning, and you're going to leave here in some significant way healed, blessed, and prospered. Well, just a couple of announcements before I get going. Our class is still going. It's at 11:30. This is the third week of it, but if you'd like to drop in on it, please do. You'll get a lot of great wisdom out of it. There's a lot of discussions, and so it's a really, really good class. Now, we have the Venus Manley Scholarship Program coming up. One of the things that we're doing differently this year, you know, we give out 3 scholarships, $1,000 to kids with disabilities, and this year we're encouraging you to go beat the bushes to see if you can get a corporate sponsor. I was over at my dentist, spent 2 hours in the dental chair this week. I'll tell you more about that later. And as the when they got to adding up what the cost of the future projects would have been, they could have added up the national debt easier. And so as they were doing that, I thought to myself, you know what? Y'all could be a good sponsor to the Venus Manley Scholarship Program. So if you have people like that, a dentist, your doctor, a chiropractor, this is a local charity. It does so much good. And so talk to Brenda's census. Brenda's in the back, and she can give you the information to pass along to people. And I would love to give out more scholarships. You come and you hear these stories for these young people of how they've been bullied, how they've been ignored, how they've had physical challenges, and they still want to get out and make a difference in the world. And we can support them in doing it. It's a wonderful thing. So to support that, we've got a fundraiser coming up. It's going to be on April 14th. It's going to be during the afternoon. It's going to be kind of a champagne matinee. The little theater group, a classic theater, they have a short little play that is hysterically funny. They're going to come and perform it for us. So just save the date on that one. It'll be a really fun event. We need volunteers. We've got our psychic fair coming up on March 23rd, and what I really need is someone to run the members table, someone who knows a little bit about the organization, can create a nice table for us and answer questions for people coming up. So if that sounds like something you'd like to do, talk to me after service. Now the next thing is a really fun thing. We're going to have a Sufi dance. Yeah, this is lots of fun. A Sufi dance for universal peace. Now, this is not like the Soul Train hustle thing. You remember that? This is very easy movements, and you do it with affirmations. It's a very powerful activity. So that's going to be on the 20th. So schedule your date for that. We've got Circle Suppers coming up there tonight. So if you registered for Circle Supper, please remember that. And those are my announcements. And I think I saved the best announcement for the last. We've got the beautiful, wonderful, and talented Kristen Lee coming up to do some music for us. Get on up here, Kristen.
Thank you. This is a song that I really love by Alita Adams. I hope you love it too. know it's late, but I couldn't wait to call you on the phone. It's been a while since I've been home. All of this was my own choice, till the universe has given me this voice. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard the breaks, I gotta use it or lose it. I just can't stand to refuse the chance to do what I gotta do. I gotta sing my song. Sing hatred into love. Sing a praise to spirit above. Woo. Sing a seed into us a mind. Sing it till I feel this is all worth the while. Oh. Woo. Sing it with me. Sing it deep within my soul. Sing it loud and make it clear, so that everyone can hear. I won't stop, I wanna keep shining hard. I'd be loving if I couldn't sing my song. That's true. By the way, let me say thank you for the love you've shown. All of these years since I've been born. Papa thought I was to settle down, not ignoring what you had in mind. And I do not want to sound unkind. Before I give up, I gotta live up to the challenge to do my thing. I gotta cut loose these apron strings. Oh, I gotta sing my song. Woo. Sing hatred into love. Yes, I do. Sing praise to spirit above. Thank you, Lord. Sing and see into us a mile, yeah. Sing until I feel this is all worth the while. Lord. Woo. Sing it, sing it, sing it deep within my soul. Sing it loud and make it clear so that everyone can hear. I won't stop, I wanna keep shining hard. I'd be loving if I couldn't sing, if I couldn't sing, if I couldn't sing my song.
That's the reason we love her. All right. So let's get our service going with a reading and treatment. And we got Jim Saul coming up to do it for us. Come on up, Jim. I know it's going to be a little tough to follow that, but I got faith in you, buddy. Come on.
It was tougher now. So my reading this morning is something I wrote a short while ago, and I think it's kind of self-explanatory, so I'll just read it. How can we not know God? We see it in the blue and orange sunset dotted with white puffy clouds. We hear it from scientists saying that in every teaspoon of rich soil, 1 million living things live. We feel it in the cries of a newborn child seeking its mother's breast. We taste it in the flesh of a ripe peach as the juice runs down our chin. It's there in the smells of a sweaty t-shirt worn by our beloved. It is. Why do we not know this? Because we were mistakenly taught that God was far away from us, and it's not true. So let's take that idea that God is present, that God is everywhere present, and go into our morning prayer. So I know that this divine intelligence is here with us. It's always here, always present, and always available to us. And the more we become aware, the more it's present in every single day of our lives. We see it here and there. I've even seen it in Walmart. So I know that this divine intelligence is everywhere present. I also know that it's loving, compassionate, and is amazingly beautiful when my eyes are open. I give thanks for it being here, for it really does make my life richer. And I see it in so many people and things and events. And it's always comforting when I'm awake. And I know that on occasion I am asleep. I don't see it, I don't feel it, and I don't know that it's there. And so my prayer this morning is to know that it's here all the time. Know that it guides me and loves me and helps me to be a good person, helps me to be a loving, compassionate individual, and helps me to be rich in the most beautiful sense of the word. Rich in love, rich in beauty, rich in compassion. And I know that this is true for everyone here this morning. Each and every one of us has it available to him in whatever form it may take. I know it here as being all the stuff that surrounds me. And you can decide what it is for you. But it is God. It is beautiful. And I know it intimately. I give thanks for this and can release this prayer knowing that each person here has that ability to feel it, see it, and know it. And I release this prayer easily and simply by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Jim. Can you have the song for us? I love that.
I must have had my coffee today. I'm feeling sprightly here. Might sound crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine stays here, you could take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that go to space. With the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Come on. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you now. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hear bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got and don't hold it back. I should probably warn you I'll be just fine. No offense to you, but don't waste your time. Come on, help me out. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Hey. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't nothing. Bring me down, some levels too high. Bring me down, can't nothing. Bring me down, some levels too high. Bring me down, can't nothing. Bring me down, some levels too high. Bring me down, can't nothing. Bring me down. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Come on. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Hey. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along
that was wonderful. Yes. I want to believe we got a place here without a roof, that our spirits are so high. The energy is so good here. We're blasting it out to a world because the world needs what we're selling, let me tell you. And what the world needs is this little clicker up here. So my talk is one with God, one with God. You know, we have the classes at 11:30 today, and that's one of the main points Dr. Holmes tells us, is that you are capable of a direct experience with the divine. You don't need anybody to help you do it. You don't need to get all saintly. You don't need to get all perfect. Right where you are, right as you are, you can have this direct input from Spirit to live a joyful and loving life, because that's what Spirit wants you to do. It wants you to feel the support in the physical plane, that you're loved, that you're supported, and that you can live in this life without fear, and without worry, and knowing that you've got a power for good flowing through you. We are direct channels of God's possibilities in the physical plane. And we've come to this life to create blessings and miracles, and no one can do what you need to do but you. You were called by name from Spirit to come here and to do something wonderful and amazing. It might be to reawaken a nation to its moral core. It might be healing yourself, or helping heal others, or just letting someone know how much you love them. In the mind of God, there's no great and small. We're all needed. We're all necessary. Creation will not be complete without you. And you have come to life so you can experience Spirit support. And it stands at the door and knocks. But we have to be the one to get up and answer. What Spirit wants us to most know is that we're loved, we're powerful. We have come so that we can witness it empowering us to make the most of our lives. Now, most of us, we want to have that experience where we hear this big booming voice from the universe, and that direct contact with the God itself, and say, here I am, I'm going to answer every question you have, I'm going to solve every problem you have, and all you need to be is the potted plant in the corner. I'm going to take care of everything. Well, it doesn't work that way, because if it did, there would be no growth for us. There would be, we are here to grow. The Spirit came to you in a big booming voice. Your first request for Spirit would be for clean underwear. We're here to grow in Spirit. We're here to co-create with Spirit so we can know the truth of ourselves. And to help us on this path, the universe reflects back to us what we reflect into it through our thoughts, what we're looking for, what we believe in, what we work towards, and what we think we deserve. You don't get what you want. You don't get what you're desperate for. You don't even necessarily get what you pray for, but you get what you think you deserve. And so it becomes important for us to get a better idea about ourselves and get a better idea about God, a better idea. My teacher, Kennedy Schultz, he would say that how most people think about God is an angry old man that you wouldn't even want to take out to brunch. You want a loving and kind, supportive friend. He also said, and I think this is very, very interesting, he said, early on in our experiences, early on in our lives, we let go of the idea of a kind and loving and supportive Creator, but we hang on like the devil to an angry and punishing one. That we hold on to. A perfect intelligence would never get mad. If perfect intelligence got mad, it wouldn't be perfect. So it's never going to be mad at you. Dr. Holmes says, Spirit becomes to us what we are to it. And it's constantly seeking our attention. It's constantly wanting us to know it supports and loves us. It's constantly sending out signals that there's a web of support around us. It's like the spider web. You know, summer's coming up. You spider webs, you can walk into them, you'll never see them. But if you get a dew, then all of a sudden you see this huge creation that had intelligence behind it. And that's what Spirit does. If you will look for the synchronicities in your life, they will show up. And they're there to let you know how much you're loved and supported. I was thinking back week before last on my dear sister Sandra. She made her transition, it's been a while now. And when she was in her good place, she lived in South Georgia, and she loved coming up to Atlanta where I lived. And she loved to spend the day traveling around Atlanta. We'd go see the big homes, big buildings. We would stop in different places. On this particular day, we had gotten in the car, I was driving her around, and I noticed a song came on I hadn't heard in probably 30 years. It was Jim Croce's Time in a Bottle. And so I was like, well, look at that, isn't that fun? Later on, we went to Whole Foods. There was a Whole Foods by my house, and she loved it. It was a big Whole Foods. They had a huge food counter, both salad and warm, and she reveled in getting little nibbles of tofu, and so she could go back home and tell all her friends about the horrible stuff that I had fed her. She could also get a little split of champagne that she really enjoyed. And I remember on this particular instance, we had dessert. We had gotten what they called hummingbird cake, which is basically a variety of red velvet cake, absent the red dye number 2. Now, dear Sandra could not conceive of why they would not want to use red dye number 2. And she was trying to convince the baker that all they needed to do was to go get this little bottle, cost you less than $1.50 at Walmart, and you could have your red velvet cake. It was a mixed message. But while we were eating in Whole Foods, what came over the sound system? Jim Croce's Time in a Bottle. Yeah. Later on, we were out touring around, and we happened to go by where she really wanted to go and what she had really come up to go. It was the Chinese import cosmetic store where they stole all the knockoff brands of cosmetics. So like instead of oil of Olay, they had oil of old age. And she was shopping around. I was trying to entertain myself. I had gone and was looking at the tightening of the facial creams. Just looking, mind you. I hadn't bought anything. And there on the counter, a bottle of Time in a Bottle. Time in a Bottle. I wish that I bought it. I did, but I didn't. And I didn't think anything about it. What's this? Just coincidence. So week before last, I go up to Savannah with my friend. We had toured a lot of the historic hotels, the historic homes, the Johnny Mercer homes, the different ones. On the way back to the airport, I had found that there was a rice plantation that was still in existence. The farmhouse was still there, and so it's a state park now, and so we decided we would go tour it. And it was really amazing because this plantation had been one of the largest plantations in the whole South. And it had produced massive amounts of rice. And it had stayed into the family until the late 60s when the oldest person who had inherited, she donated it to the state park. And everything is just as she left it. They haven't made any innovations. It's just all the same. So as we were leaving, headed home, headed back to the Jacksonville airport for my friend, he was talking about how this was just a capsule that had been caught in time. And right out of his mouth, he said, it was time in a bottle. And just as he said that, I looked up, and there was the exit sign for Jessup, Georgia, where she lived, just at that moment. Spirit is sending us these signals, sending this synchronicity to us, and the more that we are aware of it, the more you acknowledge it, the more it becomes power to you. Dr. Holmes says if you call it dust, it's dust. If you call it God, it's God. Now, New Thought authors from very long have all said that our minds serve as a conduit through which universal spirit flows, and that our ability to think creates an avenue for its expression in the physical plane. And the only power we can know is that which we can believe in, what makes sense to us. If we want a better experience, we've got to get a better God. And to have faith in the idea that regardless of what we're being challenged with, that we have a power that can create a better reality for us, can give us a better idea. I told you last week I spent 2 hours in a dental chair. And that wasn't even getting the problems fixed. That was just, the first hour was for cleaning. The second hour was for them just to tell me what all else was wrong and how much all it was going to cost. And so as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, well, this is going to be $5,000 to $6,000. Easily, this is going to be $5,000 to $6,000. I wasn't enjoying the idea that I was going to have to pay $5,000 to $6,000 for teeth. That wasn't really top of my agenda. And so I was sitting there thinking about this, and then finally the idea popped into my head. Well, there's a thing called, dental tourism. You can go, there's a lovely little town in Mexico, Merida, I think it's called. It's lovely, and you can get it done very cheaply. You can tour. It's one of the biggest repository of Inca artifacts. It's like, well, this could be really great. So I was like, well, okay, I can deal with this. I can handle this. I get up to the receptionist. She's calculating, how much I'm going to owe. And like I said, I thought she was working on the national debt. It all turned out, and she looked at me and she said, it's going to be $600. Well, that's way less than the $6,000 that I was worried about. And I was grateful to hear it. Now, here's the thing. Did my idea of dental tourism, did that affect the price? No. No, they're going to get what they need to get. But it did give me the flexibility and the openness to handle what was coming my way. It kept me from being a victim. And that's a huge, huge relief, not to be a victim in this world. To know I've got a friend with me, and we can create a better knowing. We can create a better situation. Dr. Holmes says what we are looking for is looking for us. Is looking for us. He also said what you're looking for, you're looking with. It's within. Life wants to work out for us. And we just have to give it as many opportunities as we possibly can to show up in our life. And if one avenue doesn't come through, throw out something else. If you don't have a fish in the boat, throw every hook you have in the water and see what you get. And if you have a long-term problem, most likely the solution is something that you've considered but dismissed. Our solutions, and we often have a tendency to dwell in a problem because we're waiting for a big answer, a big solution. But more than often, they come as just the next logical step. They come through an evolution of where we are to a better knowing for ourselves, the next logical step. I don't know if you've been following what has been going on in Russia, but this really brave hero, Alex Navalny, I think I'm going to butcher that. Let's just call him Alex. This man, he was safe in a Western country. He has 2 teenage children that I know he was hoping to raise. But he knew he had to get back to his homeland to try to save it. And he knew they were going to kill him once he got back. It reminds me of the story of Christ in the Garden of Gethsemane. Christ could have easily fled Jerusalem. He had the time, he had the power, but he stayed there. He stayed there, and even knowing what the Romans were going to do for him, because he had a greater faith that his message, his life, meant more than his body did. And this is what Alexis did. You think about his kids. You think about how much he would have dearly loved to see them graduate. He's got a boy and a girl. How much he would love to see them married, have their first kid. But he knew, had a larger idea. Dr. King, Martin Luther King, he did the same thing in Memphis the night before he was assassinated. He told them, he says, I've seen the promised land. I see where we're going. I may not get there with you, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. That's having faith in a larger vision. Like Dr. King, Alexei, he was murdered for his higher vision. But a change is going to come. And it doesn't matter how many people will try to hold it back. You know, they didn't even want to give his body to his mother. They didn't want to even give a hearse so he could they could take his body to the church. But the Russians have lined up on the route to show him respect. Dr. Holmes says our understanding of God is limited by our capacity to think large. We want to think large. We want to be creative. We want to expand our consciousness and deepen our connection with the divine so we can open ourselves up to the truth that God seeks to reveal itself through us. And Spirit is not interested in cowards. Spirit is interested in heroes. Heroes to bring about love. Heroes to bring about peace. Heroes to bring about compassion. And once our thinking has expanded, it's not going to go back to normal. And this is the same way with society. We have people who want somehow to go back. It won't work. Once our minds have been expanded, once our consciousness has been expanded, there's only more room for God's truth to flow in. Dr. King said he had seen the promised land, and he wasn't willing to return to a life of living in segregation. Alex, he left his teenage children, but he too had seen a promise of the call of Spirit, and he was not willing to turn back. Within each of us, there's this divine spark, a reflection of the universal Spirit. Now, we may not be called to heal a nation. We may not be called to have ourselves assassinated. But we can be called to show love to one another, to our family and friends, to heal the negativity within ourselves. And we can do it through communication with Spirit, to listening to that small, still voice that's urging us on, to know that we are to God what God is to us. And what is God to you this morning? Supportive, loving, compassionate, joyful. And we can be more of that in our lives. That's what we're called to do, to believe in the inherent goodness of all beings, the inevitable, complete salvation of all. Dr. Holmes says we all are going to get there. No, not one of us will be missing. Salvation isn't a thing to know when we die. It's a thing we declare here and now. In the face of any evil, in the face of any negativity, in the face of any anger, a salvation of knowing who we are and whose we are, children of the Most High. We've come to live in the goodness and glory of God. Now, we can do it on the balcony of Memphis. You can do it from a jail cell in Moscow. You can do it on the road to Jessup, Georgia, or you can do it in the dental chair. The only thing that's holding you back is to do it, to open yourself up to a greater idea. Dr. Holmes says our teaching is one of joy and happiness, a celebration of the divinity within each of us, that Spirit is with us, and we can look out on a world in turmoil and distress and proclaim love and compassion will reign supreme. That there's a day where the bonds of sisterhood and brotherhood will unite in common purpose, where the guns of war will be silenced at long last, where we will join arms in arms, Jew and Gentile, Christian and Muslim, the descendants of the enslaved and the slave owners, and together we will sing out, Emmanuel, Emmanuel, God with us. It's what we're here to do, and we're going to do it. Now's the time. This is the lifetime, and God has faith in you. It's the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
so much.
Thank you, Lee. So now we come to the time we support this center and we support this place because we're doing an amazing and great stuff. So you can support us in a couple of ways. You can volunteer. We love that. You can support us in prayer. That's wonderful. And you can support us financially. However you choose to support us, if you will take your intention and place it over your heart and read with us our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. The ushers have stepped down. Chris, I know you got something great for us.
You are so beautiful. To me, you are so beautiful. To me, can't you see? You're everything I hope for. Everything I need. You are so beautiful. To me, you are so beautiful. To me, you are so beautiful. To me, can't you see? You're everything I hope for. Everything I need. You are so beautiful. To me. To me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. And thank you for your support. Your support is allowing us to grow and to thrive, to be this wonderful beacon of love and kindness and compassion. So we thank you, we bless it, we release it, knowing it does its good and perfect work and returns to us multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my friends, well, I'm going to close the service by doing an affirmative prayer. I'm going to do it in the first person, but take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me this morning. There is but one God and one mind and one power, and that power is perfect love. It's divine intelligence. It called me by name so I could walk the soil of St. Augustine. So here now, I know something wonderful and good about myself, about spirit, that I am here to be awed with how much God loves me, awed with the health and prosperity and joy and laughter and great music that is coming in my life, and I'm grateful for it all. I know spirit, when it created me through perfection. I know when it created the world, it thought of the world in perfection. So there is a way for us to live in love and joy. There is a way for us to drop the arms of war. There is a way for us to drop the anger and turmoil we see around us. There is a way for us to lift our eyes up to a greater knowing for ourselves, to lift our eyes up unto the hills which come our strength. And our strength is the wisdom of God. Our strength is the love of Spirit. Our strength is knowing who we are and whose we are, that we are here to live dynamically. We are here to live courageously. We are here to make a difference, to make the world a better place because we were here. So this morning, I am not a victim. This morning, I am not depressed. I am not down. This morning, I leave this place inspired. I leave this place encouraged. I leave this place knowing that a path has been lit before me and I am on my way. Spirit and I celebrating the great truth of humanity, that we're one with God. God is good, and there is heaven on earth for us to reign in. This is my truth. I celebrate this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you with one last idea. And that is your life, your life. It's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is go name your miracle, proclaim your miracle, and make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle God is calling us to be. Until we see each other again, this is Reverend Ken wishing you many blessings.
Come on, put your hands together. Woo! If you know it, why don't you sing along with me? We are family. I got all my sisters with me. Yes, I do. We are family. My brothers and sisters with me. I want to hear you sing it now. We are family. Hey, everybody now. I got all my sisters with me. Get up, everybody, sing. Everyone can see we're together as we walk on by. And we fly just like birds of a feather. I won't tell no lie. All of the people around us, they say, can we be that close? Just let me say for the record. There you go, get down. What giving love in a family does. I want to hear you sing it now. We are family. Hey, everybody now. I got all my sisters with me. Everybody. Get up, everybody, and sing. Hey, everybody now. I got all my sisters with me. Get up, everybody, sing. Living life is fun, and we just begun to get our share of this world's delight. High hopes we have for the future, and our goals and